So welcome back guys, this is Madhav PVL and today we are going to discuss enhanced entity relationship diagram. So EER. So this is one of the advanced topic in this database management system. So enhanced entity relationship diagram. This is almost similar to this entity relationship diagram which is used for the representation purpose. Representation of a particular table is done with the help of these ER diagrams, whereas in this enhanced entity relationship diagram there are some additional concepts in this thing. So they are subclasses or superclasses, specialization or generalization, categories, union types, attributes and relationship inheritance. So we will discuss one by one in this enhanced entity relationship diagram. So if we are perfect in this 4 topics, then we can just say like we are able to answer any question which is belonging to this EER diagram. So first one, the subclass and subtypes. So supertype and subtype. So an entity can be divided into several subgroups or subtypes. Don't worry guys, subtypes in the sense we can just say like this is a main one and this can be called as the subtypes. These two can be called as a subtype or subgroups. An entity that can be divided into subtypes is called as a supertype. That is, this can be called as a supertype. So this thing can be called as a supertype. Now a subtype is a subset of a supertype that shares common attributes. So let us just keep this aside. So a subtype is a subset of a supertype that shares a common attribute. So subtype is a subset of supertype. So subset of supertype is these both things and then they share common attributes. So this, let us just keep this aside. So let us just consider an example of a business. So customer in a particular business can be of both types, that is an individual customer or an organization. Like we can just say like there may be a single person who buys a product from me, otherwise we can just say like a particular organization is willing to buy a product for me. So individual will have attributes of Aadhaar number and profession, whereas an organization will have some registration ID and then the contact details. So now let us just build a normal EER diagram. So this is a basic example of an EER diagram. So customer and then these are for the representation purpose. So customer will have two types, that is individual, organization, and these are address and customer ID, which is common for both the customers. So they are towards up, and this is a super type. So this customer is a super type because these can be divided into two things again. So individual and organization. Individual will have a Aadhaar number and a profession. Organization will have a register ID and a contact. Don't confuse too much. This is a very small topic. So this is a super type and this a division is known as a subtype. So super sub. That's all. Let me just erase once. So this is super type and these are subtypes. Yeah, so this is all about the supertype and subtype. And the next one is generalization. It is a process of identifying more general entity type. So general entity type in the sense the entity which is a very well known, or we can just say like which is an initial point. So we can just say like a human is more general than the student and a teacher. Student is a human, whereas a human cannot be only a student or a teacher. Student should be only a human, right? Teacher should be only a human, but human cannot be only a student or only a teacher. Human can be anything. So human is a general. So this is a general, and the entity type human contains attributes that are more general than the other two entities. This sentence means like, so student is a general for this some other purpose, like we can just say like student is a general for two things, that is name, address. So student will have a name, so name will not be only for the student, right? So this will be just like a joke if we just see student will have a name, but only the name will not be given to only students, right? In this whole world everyone will have a name. So this is a general thing. So generalization is nothing but at every stage we will have some generalizations. So for human that is student and teacher, for student that is name and address, for teacher it is name and phone number. So we can just consider this whole thing as an example. Whereas generalization is a reverse of specialization. Several classes with the common features are generalized in a super class. So this is a super class, and then several features are generalized, that is student and teacher are united in this human, right? So generalized into a super class, several classes with the common features. And then specialization, so it is a process of defining a set of subclasses of a superclass. That is, in the sense we can just say like specialization is nothing but here human can be called as a specialization. So it is a process of defining a set of subclasses of a superclass. That is, employee can be a secretary or an engineer. So there are two types of employees in a particular office, right? So secretary or an engineer. So here now we can just see with this example. So employee will have a disjoint of secretary or technician. Employee can be either a secretary or a technician. So disjoint will just disjoint will be placed in between them to just represent only one thing. So employee can be only one thing. So either he can be a secretary or he can be a technician. So specialization, it is a process of defining a set of subclasses of a superclass. So defining a set of subclasses. So these are a set of subclasses and this is a superclass. So this is all about specialization. So and here we can just see like salaried and hourly basis. So this is a disjoint, right? So employee will have a disjoint of salaried and hourly basis. And then categories. And then categories are union types. Union and disjoint must be used for an entity enhanced entity relationship model. So this is a disjoint, and then unity is nothing but the joining of two things. Here we can just see. So attribute and relationship inheritance. We can use all the above features of a ER model in order to create classes of objects in a programming. So we can just see like name, age, gender will have for a person, but person is a student or a teacher. We can just use this is instead of a disjoint. So disjoint will just give an option to the user to choose whether he want to be a secretary or an engineer. So is nothing but it is a we can just say like it is defined, it is a rule. Like a person can be either a student or a teacher, he can't be both. So this is about easy. So we can just use all the above features in a ER model in order to create classes of an objects in a programming. So these are the objects and this is a class. So person class has a name, age, gender. So these are also some of the objects. So no need to worry, this is a very small topic. So now I had just drawn a basic EER model. So let me just explain you now. So name, address, ID number. So this is a key attribute, guys. So this is a key attribute. Key attribute will be defined. Key attribute is a thing which is nothing but which is having a unique identity. So ID number will be different for every individual employee, right? So ID number is a key attribute, and then those both are the normal key entity. So those normal are the normal ones. So key attribute and then the normal attributes, and then the union will represent the name, address and ID number will be there for n employees. So n employees will have name, address, ID numbers, but only one employee can be either an engineer or a worker. So there will be a disjoint, we can just see here, engineer or a worker. For an engineer there should be some qualifications, whereas for worker there should be a working hours. So employee will have a salaried employee and then hourly basis. N employee will be considered into a disjoint of both, that is salaried employee or an hourly basis. So by using this arrow marks we can just say like so by using these things and by using this disjoint and by using this union and by using this key attributes, so we can just define this enhanced entity relationship. So I think you might have understood this session. So please subscribe to Works After College. Please support, guys. Thank you for watching video.